Japan is years ahead, and almost no one talks about it. After you see this, your idea of technology will change, while the rest of the world is still adapting. Japan is already living in the future. In Japan, technology is not displayed. It simply works every single day. It wasn't created to impress visitors or generate flashy headlines. It exists to keep the country running with absolute precision. Trains arrive exactly on time because delays are culturally unacceptable. Intelligent systems coordinate millions of decisions without drawing attention. When everything works, no one notices the technology behind it. Japanese cities operate like highly organized living organisms. Data constantly flows between buildings, transportation, and public services. Every piece of information is used to prevent failures before they happen. The goal was never fast innovation. It was long-term stability, and that single detail completely changes the final outcome. The foundation of this technological power was built after periods of deep crisis. With few natural resources, Japan had to compensate through extreme efficiency. Every technological decision became a matter of national survival. Automation became a necessity, not a futuristic luxury. Planning became culture, not a political exception. While other countries chased rapid growth, Japan chose consistency. Every advancement had to work for decades, not just a few years. Mistakes were too costly to repeat, so the country learned to eliminate failure at its source. Nothing is implemented without rigorous testing in real-world environments. Japanese technology was never isolated from society. It always evolved alongside customs, rules, and collective behavior. Digital solutions respect existing routines instead of forcing abrupt change. This reduces social resistance and increases trust in systems. Trust is the invisible fuel behind this strategy. Robots, software, and algorithms do not abruptly replace people. They enter as quiet support for human work. The focus is on reducing physical and mental strain. Productivity emerges naturally, not through aggressive corporate pressure. This mindset created a country that is highly predictable and functional. Public services fail less because they were designed not to fail. Infrastructure lasts longer because it was built to age. Well, technology moves with time, not against it. While the world chases the next digital trend, Japan strengthens systems that already work today. That contrast explains why few can replicate its strategy. Products can be copied easily. Mindset cannot. The real question is not about robots or artificial intelligence. It's about patience, planning, and collective vision. Would you live in a country where the future was built quietly over decades? In Japan, technological strategy begins long before markets and final products. It starts in basic education quietly, rigorously, and deeply structured. From an early age, students learn discipline, logic, and collective responsibility. Creativity exists, but it's always supported by strong technical mastery. The Japanese education system produces real-world problem solvers. Theory is never separated from daily practical application. Mistakes are openly analyzed as an essential part of learning. Failure is not punished. It is corrected through method and repetition. Universities operate closely aligned with industrial needs. Research does not remain trapped in papers without practical use. Laboratories solve problems companies face in the real world. This alignment reduces wasted time and resources. Japanese engineers are trained to optimize existing processes. Creating something new only happens after the old has been fully refined. This avoids complex solutions to simple problems. Efficiency becomes the absolute priority. Small, continuous improvements accumulate massive advantages over time. This concept shaped factories, software, and national systems alike. Nothing changes abruptly without extensive testing. Every adjustment is validated before being scaled. Japanese culture values stability over aggressive disruption. Changes must prove they won't cause social side effects. Technology should not generate collective anxiety or insecurity. It must increase predictability and trust in daily life. Companies train employees for decades within the same organization. Knowledge is not easily lost through excessive turnover. Processes are transmitted as national technical heritage. This creates depth competitors cannot quickly replicate. The focus was never speed of launch. It was absolute reliability. A system that rarely fails is preferred over an unstable, innovative one. That choice defines the country's entire technological trajectory. While global startups chase rapid growth, Japan builds long-term cumulative knowledge. Each generation improves what the previous one built. Nothing starts from scratch without real necessity. This mindset shaped a highly predictable industrial base. Japanese machines operate for decades with minimal maintenance. Software updates are deployed with extreme caution. Services operate under nearly immutable quality standards. The result is not technological glamour. It's structural trust in everything that works daily. Few countries had the patience to follow this path. Even fewer maintain this discipline across generations. Would you give up rapid growth to build technology that works for decades? In Japan, infrastructure was designed to think before people notice problems. Nothing was created only to meet immediate demands or emergencies. Every system carries invisible layers of prevention. That invisibility is a sign everything is working correctly. Bridges, roads, and buildings are constantly monitored by distributed sensors. These sensors track wear, vibration, and structural variation. Information is analyzed before failures become visible. Maintenance happens before collapse, not after. Japanese cities operate with predictive logic rather than reactive responses. Traffic adjusts automatically as flow patterns change. Traffic lights don't follow fixed schedules, they respond to real data. Congestion is reduced without constant human intervention. Power grids were designed to withstand spikes and natural failures. Systems automatically isolate when serious risks are detected. This prevents cascading blackouts during extreme events. The population rarely notices how much was avoided. In a country prone to earthquakes, anticipation saves lives. Automated alerts arrive seconds before stronger tremors. Those seconds allow machines to shut down and transportation to stop. This isn't technological magic. It's precise applied engineering. Japanese technology doesn't promise to eliminate natural disasters. It promises to reduce impact measurably and consistently. This realism guides every national infrastructure decision. Nothing is sold as a perfect or final solution. City data feeds long-term models. These models simulate urban growth and population aging. Urban planning is based on projection, not improvisation. Entire neighborhoods are redesigned before becoming obsolete. Public systems communicate in integrated ways. Transportation, healthcare, and energy share critical information. This reduces waste and accelerates coordinated responses. The city functions as a single digital organism. People trust these systems because they rarely fail. When they do, corrections happen quickly and quietly. There is no search for media scapegoats. There is absolute focus on fixing processes. While many countries invest in visible infrastructure, Japan invests in what no one sees: cables, sensors, and algorithms do the silent work. That silence is the true mark of technological maturity. The result is a stable and predictable urban environment. People plan their routines with near absolute confidence. Technology disappears into daily life because it fulfills its role. It doesn't compete for attention, it delivers results. Copying smart buildings is easy. Copying decades of invisible planning is almost impossible. That difference separates superficial modernization from real progress. Would you trust your city to systems that think before the problem exists? In Japan, technology was never the sole responsibility of private companies. The state always acted as a quiet coordinator of national strategic interests. This relationship shaped a model difficult to understand outside Japan. Nothing grows alone in this highly interconnected system. Government defines long-term direction based on real national needs. Companies align investments knowing those directions won't change abruptly. This predictability reduces risk and enables complex, costly projects. Planning decades ahead becomes possible when rules remain stable. The Japanese corporate model values networks of interdependent companies. Large groups sustain entire chains of specialized suppliers. Small companies don't compete for immediate survival. They deepen expertise in extremely specific technical niches. This creates rare industrial depth. Knowledge circulates without aggressive secrecy. Competition exists, but within clear collaborative boundaries. The greater goal is always strengthening the national system. Technological decisions are not driven by short election cycles. Strategic projects survive across governments. Change happens but without breaking existing structures. This continuity generates internal and external trust. Investments in critical technology are shielded from short-term pressure. Fast profit was never the top priority.
National resilience mattered more. This choice shaped entire sectors of the economy.
When failures occur, the response isn't public blame.
It's quiet, efficient process adjustment.
Media exposure is seen as a sign of systemic failure. Fixing the problem matters more than narrating it. This environment reduces impulsive decisions and unnecessary
disputes. Engineers and managers work with less external noise.
Focus remains on continuous technical improvement.
Quality accelerates, not speed. In many countries, government and business compete for control. In Japan, they share responsibility.
That difference completely changes outcomes. Technology stops being a political battlefield.
Coordination enables efficient national standardization. Systems communicate because they were designed together. Fragmentation is treated as strategic risk.
Integration becomes the priority.
Other nations copied Japanese products. Few copied the coordination logic behind them.
Without institutional alignment,
technology quickly loses strength.
The method demands constant collective discipline. This model doesn't produce explosive short-term growth. It produces accumulated stability over time.
A difficult choice in a world obsessed with fast results, but extremely powerful long-term. The final question isn't about technology itself.
It's about institutional maturity and shared vision. Do you believe modern countries can cooperate internally at this level today? In Japan, technology was shaped to solve concrete human problems.
It didn't emerge as digital luxury or imported trend.
It was born from the urgent need to keep society
functioning.
An aging population forced difficult and early technological decisions.
Fewer young workers required efficient, sustainable solutions.
Automation stopped being optional and became national strategy,
but never uncontrolled.
Robots entered support roles in hospitals and homes. They assist with repetitive, physically demanding tasks. The goal is preserving human energy, not eliminating human contact.
Technology becomes quiet support for daily care. Intelligent systems organize medical schedules and resource
distribution. This reduces errors, delays, and staff overload. Every process was redesigned to work with fewer people
available. Efficiency became synonymous with social survival.
Public services underwent gradual, careful automation. Lines shortened because systems anticipate recurring demand. Documents are processed with minimal manual intervention. Bureaucracy was treated as a technical flaw, not sacred
tradition. Every innovation is tested in controlled environments before scaling nationally. Communities participate in gradual adaptation. Social rejection is treated as critical risk. Technology imposed without acceptance is considered failure.
Japanese artificial intelligence operates discreetly.
It recommends, organizes, and prevents. It rarely decides alone in sensitive situations. Final authority remains with trained humans.
This approach built collective trust in machines.
People don't feel threatened by automation. They see it as predictable and useful. Trust reduces resistance and accelerates responsible adoption.
While other countries fear mass replacement, Japan plans cooperation between humans and machines.
Work is redistributed, not abruptly eliminated.
Roles evolve through training and gradual adaptation.
Technology also protects older workers.
Exoskeletons reduce physical strain in factories and warehouses.
Ergonomics became a national technological priority.
Keeping people productive longer became strategic advantage. Every solution undergoes ethical and social evaluation. Psychological impact is considered before full implementation.
Speed never overrides collective responsibility.
That care explains system stability. The result is a highly functional society under demographic pressure. Serious problems are handled with method and calm.
Technology doesn't promise miracles.
It delivers continuity.
Other nations admire Japanese robots. Few examine the social logic behind them.
Without that logic,
technology creates conflict instead of solutions. Would you accept living in a country where machines exist to sustain society itself? In Japan, the future was never treated as an uncertain bet.
It was treated as a long-term technical project. Nothing with national impact is left to improvisation. Japanese technological plans look 30 or 40 years
ahead.
They consider demographics, climate, energy, and social behavior. Every variable is integrated into realistic scenarios. The goal is reducing surprises, not creating grand promises. The country avoids technological leaps that break existing Structures. Every innovation must fit the current system. If it doesn't fit, it's adjusted or discarded.
Progress without integration is considered systemic risk.
Researchers work with clear, measurable goals. Nothing is developed purely from isolated academic
Curiosity.
projects must demonstrate concrete future usefulness.
Science and planning move together.
Technology evolves alongside population aging. It anticipates labor shortages and rising social demand. Every decision considers human and operational costs.
The focus is maintaining long-term social balance.
Japan's digital society evolves gradually. There is no sudden rupture with the past. Old and new coexist functionally. This reduces collective fear and cultural resistance.
Systems are tested at small scale for long periods. Only after full validation does national expansion occur.
This process can take years without urgency. Patience is treated as competitive advantage, while others rush early releases.
Japan prefers final versions. Fewer emergency updates mean greater public trust.
Frequent failure signals poor planning. Artificial intelligence is integrated with extreme caution.
It supports human decisions rather than replacing them.
Entirely. Algorithms are auditable and predictable.
Black boxes are avoided in critical systems. The Japanese future isn't visually spectacular. It's quiet, stable, and functional.
Few changes attract external attention, but internally, everything keeps working uninterrupted. This approach reduces unexpected technological crises.
It also reduces social shock from abrupt automation.
The cost is slower short-term growth. The gain is deep long-term stability.
While many countries chase global trends,
Japan builds its own path based on real needs. Copying external trends rarely works internally.
methodical adaptation always proved more effective.
Time is treated as strategic resource. Each decade of planning compounds advantage. That advantage cannot be bought or artificially accelerated. It only emerges through sustained collective discipline. Japan's future doesn't promise constant revolutions. It promises continuity in an unstable world, less flashy, but far more powerful.
Could you wait decades to harvest real results from
well-planned technological decisions? In Japan, technology won because it became stable social structure. It was never treated as isolated product or empty innovation. Showcase. Everything was designed to keep the country functioning.
Under future pressure, decades of quiet planning built systems difficult to break.
When crises emerge, responses already exist before escalation. This reduces panic, improvisation, and impulsive decisions. Other countries copied Japanese robots, trains, and factories. Few copied patience, coordination,
and long-term collective vision.
Without those, technology becomes fragile tool. Japan's true advantage isn't hardware.
It's how decisions are made over time. Planning slowly produced constant acceleration.
While the world searches for shortcuts, Japan built a continuous, predictable path. That path doesn't draw attention,
but it delivers results. That's why almost no one successfully replicates it. It requires social discipline that cannot be imported.
It demands less shine now for stability later. In the end, the question isn't about advanced technology. It's about maturity to think as an entire society.
Few countries are willing to pay the price. Subscribe so you don't miss upcoming content. Leave your like.
Here, we show technology with strategy and long-term vision. See you next time.